You pop those on, see how they sound.
Nice.
How's it sound?
Nice. Crisp.
Yeah.
Crisp.
Hell yeah.
That's nice. That was we was telling him that's what I've been looking at. I'm probably gonna get,
Oh, wow.
get one
Rodecaster?
soon. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's important for anything more than like 2 mics or something.
Yeah.
I think 2 mics you could plug into a computer, but yeah, after that you need something like this.
Yeah. And it really makes it that gives you that
Sounds crisp. Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
There's some
that's
cool
clean.
shit. Yeah. There's some cool stuff too you could do to it. Like, I think these are like all voice changers.
Oh wow.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the ball game.
Freaking funny.
Yeah. Yeah, it seems pretty cool. But then I actually have to leave it off of it. Otherwise, it'll just start playing by itself like a little.
Penis.
That's how you start a show.
Yeah. I don't know if it was like Gigi just walking up, which is my cat, like over here walking on top of it or something. But now all of a sudden, if I leave it on there, we'll just be talking, and then that like deep voice will click on and be like, just halfway through a sentence.
Well, at least it's not just popping up with random penis.
Yeah. That will happen too. Yeah.
That would.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Hell yeah. Damn, so a monster at 7 p.m. right now. You're just impervious to caffeine or what?
Hey, dude, I'll drink probably about 5-6 of these nitros a day.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah, I just started an overnight job too for hotels. So now this is gonna be tonight. I'll actually be working 11 to 7 as well.
Oh, okay. Wait, 11 p.m. to
Yep.
7? Oh, so you're in it for the long haul tonight,
Yeah.
anyways.
Oh yeah. Screw it. I'm here for glory.
Would you drink Would you drink like a energy drink this late if you were going to sleep at 11 or noon? Yeah. Oh wow. Huh.
We talk about it all the time. I'm like, dude, it's like 8:30. What are you doing? He's like, I'm thirsty. I'm like, there's
good.
There's water. There's juice. Like,
Also, that'll like dehydrate the fuck out of you too.
and it's like 110 out here, man.
Yeah.
Hey, but bro, if I gotta stay up till like 6 in the morning just to edit those interviews, like I'll just pound through like 3 or 4 because I gotta get it done.
Wow.
You do it on a normal day too.
Oh yeah.
Without anything going on.
This is already my second one today.
Nothing special. You do.
Now, granted, I drink them a lot too, but not like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's a cult at this point with this.
I have a time limit. We get to around 4:35. I'm like, I do want to go to bed today.
Yeah, right. I know. I don't know if it's me just getting old or what, but like now, if I drink caffeine anytime after noon, it's just like no going to sleep.
Afternoon.
Yeah, afternoon. Like maybe 2 p.m. latest, but after that, it's like no way.
See, I naturally, if I'm up at like 11:30, 12, 1 ish.
It's like when you go to sleep.
Yeah, if I'm already like, unless I just relax already around 5, 6,
Yeah.
chill out, I'll go to bed normally. But if not, I'm up at that late anyway. So when I drink
One of those.
Red Bulls too,
See, I can't do.
I'll
Red
find
Bull.
myself at like 3 in the morning, like, why can't I sleep?
Yeah. See, that's the same with me. I'll go out to dinner and like drink a Dr. Pepper at like 6 p.m. and I'm like, I can't fucking go to sleep tonight. I'm like, oh, it's fucking caffeine. It's ridiculous.
See,
bad.
I'm stuck in a situation now where I can't eat anything after 8, or else I'm just screwed the next morning.
Why is
Yeah.
that?
Bad eating habits. So like me when I was younger, bro, I used to chug 2 liters of soda a day, the entire family pack of double stuffed Oreos. Oh no, that'd be a wrap in 4 hours. And then it's just like, nope, nature caught up to me, and now it's like if I eat after 8, no, it's bad. If I eat after 10, like I can't do it anymore.
What,
My
like fucks up your stomach or?
Yeah.
Okay, wow.
Yeah, so I'm like, now
day
I
is just
really
kill.
gotta watch what I do.
Yeah, that ain't got to me yet. I can eat whatever, all hours. That's
Yeah, I can eat whatever too. It's just the caffeine. It's weird, like your sensitivity changes.
Yeah,
I
And
get.
I don't do no sugar no more either. I think
That's
is why
really
the
good.
caffeine kind of amps it up. 'Cause
Yeah.
there's no other like form of sugar.
No other jitter.
Yeah. I
Wow.
think that has something to do with it. Because I used to be drinking the sodas and the
Yeah.
candy. Oh, candy, man.
I can't do candy much anymore. Like I used to be all
miss
about
it.
chocolate, bro. Now I can't do chocolate that much.
Yeah.
See, I just don't have a big sweet tooth, to be honest. Like, I'd just rather eat a second meal.
Oh yeah.
Like, I'd rather not eat dessert or a cake or anything. I'll just have like one more order.
I used to make cookies every single night.
Wow.
Because of the kids and stuff. So
Wow.
and
Every
then-
night.
Yeah. And it was an excuse. It was for me.
Yeah.
But I would make it every single night, and then now I'm like, nah, I can't do that. And then it's just rich. It's like for some reason, like all of a sudden, it tastes too rich. So
That's why I
stay
can't do
away from
cake or
sugar.
cupcakes. The frosting.
Too rich?
Yeah, way too rich.
Maybe it's also a sensitivity thing. You know, it's funny. Like when I was a kid, I had like I remember tasting like raw sugar for the first time. I think it was truly like a drug. Like we used to have. I mean, it literally is a drug, but like we used to have this little like thing of sugar. I don't know. I guess for my parents' coffee or something. And I found out that I had it, and I tasted it one day. Like this is probably like 4 years old or something. And then I remember waking up in the middle of the night and just going down and licking my finger and just like getting after it,
Getting stuck
just,
on it.
just straight raw sugar. And then I think someone must have figured it out. I bet you like my dad just realized that like I was getting in there or something. One time I went in there and it was salt.
Oh, that's the worst.
That's
Yeah.
messed up.
That's the worst.
Yeah, I just had a mouthful of
Probably
salt.
had
I was
like
ugh.
sugar residue all over the area.
That's probably it. Yeah, I wasn't discreet about it. Just like,
Like, screw it.
They're like, it's either roaches, which
Yeah.
we don't have those, so it has to be our son.
yeah, it's got to be the kid.
God, there's this one time. So when I was in middle school, my buddy, he gave me this big piece of Mexican chocolate. I didn't even know
Oh,
what Mexican
unsweetened?
chocolate. Yeah, I didn't know that it was bitter. So I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm used to like just downing like Hershey's. He gives me a piece like this big. I take a bite of the whole thing. I look at him after the first like chew, and I'm like, how dare you? How dare you? Him, his sister, and the rest of the siblings are just dying laughing. I'm literally just there struggling, like trying to give me some water.
Wait, so what's it like? It's super bitter.
Oh yeah.
Wow, I don't think I've
bitter.
tried it.
So bitter.
It's like cocoa, just raw cocoa.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, okay.
No nothing, no anything with
Yeah,
it.
it's like not mixed with the sugar and all
Yep.
that stuff. Like even like super dark chocolate's like 80% cocoa or something, right?
And even then, it's not really like super sweet.
not
unless
pure
you
cocoa.
Get, unless you get the real
Huh.
sugar
Yeah.
ones.
It was bad. It was traumatizing.
I bet.
Right? Yeah. Huh.
I remember the first time I cooked with it, I didn't know you had to add sugar and all that.
Oh yeah. See, that's why I don't do dark chocolate at all.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, you cook with cocoa, right?
Yeah.
Do certain stuff like that.
Yeah. Like you make when you do it from scratch, you know,
Mm-hmm.
maybe with cocoa, making the flour, make the cakes. And,
Okay, I
yeah.
gotcha.
Yeah.
Nice.
But you gotta sweeten it. You gotta put the sugar. in
Yeah.
it.
Gotta
Yeah.
sweeten it up.
That's tough.
That's like my coffee. I just down it with sugar. Or I used to. Now I've gotten way better at it.
Not as much sugar.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, I don't do any of that. No sugar or cream or anything. I just drink my coffee black.
I wish I could do that. Props to you on that, bro. That's hard. I can't get over the bitterness.
Really, really good coffee.
Actually, unless it's like maybe espresso or something, then I like a nice like latte, maybe like
Oh,
an
yeah.
oat milk latte or something.
I'm not
That'd
a
be
big
good.
coffee guy.
Not a big coffee guy. Huh.
And it's crazy too, because I didn't really drink caffeine at all besides soda until like Monsters and Red Bulls came out. I was
Huh.
like,
Well, and then Monsters, Red Bulls, you get after those.
oh man, yeah. It was being young and clubbing.
Yeah.
Because like tequila, I was like, I could drink a couple of these, but I can't have 15 shots of tequila.
Yeah, right.
So I needed to, get
Well,
a bigger cup.
yeah.
So I had to put like Red Bull or something in it.
Little vodka Red Bull.
Yeah.
Keep you going.
Yep.
Yeah, what's that one drink where it's a Jaeger bomb? Where it's the
Yeah.
Red Bull and the Jägermeister?
Oh, and Monster, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I tried that with the regular Red Bull. It was so bad, but they used to have it was like a tangerine Red Bull or like an orange one.
Yeah.
It was so good. Like that was the only way I could drink the Jägermeister.
I can't do
Otherwise, it was
Jaeger.
like, damn.
Yeah, it's
cannot
rough
do
too. It tastes like cough syrup.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's
Yep.
a rough one. That's another thing too. I don't know if it's
licorice.
I don't know if it's getting old or something, but I'm the same way. If I drink like alcohol too much, like I just get sleepy. I just get tired. It doesn't even. And then I'm such a high caffeine tolerance that like the Red Bull vodka doesn't help me. You need,
Bro,
like,
for
I
real.
need like Adderall vodka or something. It's the only way to power through.
What was that one they used to have back in the day?
Oh,
They took
Four
out-
Loko?
Well, the Four Loko was
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah, because the original Four Loko used to be like they said it was like 4 cups of coffee plus 4 beers is the equivalent
Is the
in
equivalent,
one
yep.
in one drink.
Yep.
Yeah.
But didn't they have like Spark or something? Like Spark was like crazy. It was alcohol and mixed with it, but the caffeine level was crazy.
Oh,
on it,
maybe.
too.
I'm not sure if I know that one.
I think it was Spark.
Spark?
Yeah, I think that's
I
when
think
I first
basically Four
started.
Locos that same type of thing.
Yeah.
And then like someone died, and then they're like, or
Maybe
like
we
a
should ease
couple
off a
people.
bit.
Yeah,
They
a
had,
couple
like,
people
4.
died. Yeah, they're like, maybe we should like pull this back a little bit.
When
Yeah.
they first came out, we used to play beer pong with them.
Oh, nice.
You
That
get
is rough.
2 games. If you win, it's worse.
Yeah. You know, I think I tried like maybe a couple, but I was in high school when they first came out and
Yeah.
when they came illegal, so I didn't really get to dive in deep. I remember seeing like on Workaholics, we're like, we've got it's like 704 locos, the illegal ones. They're like stocked up once they knew it was like becoming illegal.
It was
crazy.
a thing for a while. People were like,
Yeah.
"Hey, you got the real ones?"
Yeah.
People buying cases of them,
Yeah.
stealing cases, really, because that was a big thing back then in high school.
Right,
Like,
for sure.
Hit up the little stores, they would run it out.
Yeah.
All the high school kids.
I
ready
know,
for
we're
the
doing
party.
beer runs.
Yeah.
Dude, we used to do beer runs, actually. That's how we would get our alcohol. We would
Yeah.
like come out and like just fucking, well, it was also at the time when you would go to a grocery store and it would be like, you know, whatever year it was at the time, 2011, 2012, in like giant 32 packs, you know, of like beer, like as you come in, or like Happy July 4th or whatever,
do that no more.
spelt out, yeah, in 32 packs right at the front door. So we would go in and just like have someone parked right front, grab two, and then just run in the car.
And they didn't have greeters like this.
Yeah. Yeah,
There
well,
was nobody.
not
at the
near
door.
us. It was just like a Fry's or a Safeway or something.
Yeah, you just pop in and out.
Yeah. And then one time I had a buddy who like, or we were like throwing a party, and so we needed some beer. Like we're all underage, and we needed beer for the party. And we go in, like I had a buddy who was a driver, me and a friend were the ones that were gonna go and grab it. And so we go in, I grab two, I start to like walk away or run away. My buddy Al goes and grabs a handle, rips it off. The handle rips off. The beer like goes everywhere. And, like they break, start exploding. He's like, fuck. Grabs another one, does the same thing. Rips it off. Beer everywhere,
Oh my
exploding. Like a huge mess. And he just panics and leaves. He doesn't even get any fuking beer.
Where were you at after that?
I was like, God damn it. Yeah, I was in the car. Fuck that. By the time he got in the car, he's like, you didn't even fucking get any.
Did you see what I went through?
Yeah, it was crazy.
That was a real slippery slope.
64 beers in the aisle.
Just-
We could go.
So it was ridiculous. We had to go somewhere else and do it again. So we didn't have enough.
We can't go home like
Yeah,
this.
it was a defeated mission. Yeah, he was no
not gonna
longer a
last.
grabber. He was like a fucking
driver.
sick
Yeah, he was
waiter
a
or
driver
something.
only. Yeah, he was the watchman standing outside.
Hold the door
Exactly.
open, stand in front of the sensor.
Exactly. How ridiculous.
That's funny, man. That's
So you
funny.
said you're not from Arizona, right?
Yeah, kind of like all over. So I originally came from Arizona, from California. Then I lived in Nevada, Utah, Florida, like just all over the place.
Well, what's the reason for the moves?
Being broke bitches. Nah, I'm kidding. No, just
Cheaper
had
over
family.
here, cheaper over here.
Essentially, yeah. Like, you know, cost of living going up and then opportunities for work. So, like, I had a dad. My dad, he had worked for the Cedars-Sinai Hospital out in California. And then we eventually moved out to Arizona. And so my dad, he's a property manager. And just ever since then, I've just been in Arizona.
Okay, nice. Wow, that's cool. Are you from Arizona?
Originally, I was born in California.
Oh, nice. Wow. Is that where you guys met in California?
No, we met here.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But I grew up here, so
Grew up in Arizona?
yeah. So
Nice. Where'd you go to high school?
Peoria.
Oh, okay. Nice. I was in like North Phoenix too. I was at Sandra Day O'Connor.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we were pretty close. We might have
Yeah.
played each other in football or
Here and
something.
there. Yeah. I think I know we seen you guys in track and cross country. and
Okay,
stuff
yeah.
like that,
I never
so-
did track or cross country.
So I did all that.
Yeah. I think regardless of the sport, like it's the same round of schools that you go to.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So how'd you guys meet in Arizona?
MMA.
Yeah.
Nice.
MMA.
So do you guys both train?
No, I don't train.
I train. I'm kind of on and off. I haven't been consistent enough, but like about 10 years now, I've been on and off training.
Wow. Nice.
Yeah.
And then you've been training MMA or just like one of something?
So my first love is wrestling jiu-jitsu. That's where I started, and that's just been my bread and butter since. But then, like out in Lake Havasu City, there's a retired pro boxer and then a retired kickboxer as well. They were my coaches when I was still out in Lake Havasu before I moved out here.
Wow.
So I got
That's where
some-
you went first, Lake Havasu?
Yeah. So I was on Lake Havasu. That's actually where I
You're
graduated
like,
high
I want to
school.
come to Arizona, but like right on the border.
Pretty much, yeah.
I'll just
not
come on the
sure
other
yet.
side.
Pretty much it. Hey, I'm so happy I moved to Phoenix though. Havasu, hot and very little to do.
Yeah, unless it's spring break. Right?
I'm on lie, bro. 10 years ago, I'd say yes about spring break, but in Havasu, the spring break ain't the same anymore.
Oh, really? It's falling off?
It used to be so crazy. I
Yeah.
remember the first time I moved there and I saw like, oh shit, I need to put on some reflective glasses and get out of here. It was like everywhere. Beer cans littering the streets. Cops were everywhere. But now it's like,
Really?
like straight up.
Huh. Maybe it was like COVID that stopped it or pulled it back or something like that?
It was more so the city because they wanted it to dial back all the partying and bring more like tourists in. So like the snowbirds that come in from like Canada, Oregon, Washington, they started to focus more on that. And it just kind of took away and all the locals are like moving out of there.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah, it's like And not a lot of stuff to do out there. It's just hot as balls.
Wow.
Like it's the hottest populated region in the entire country. Only place hotter is Death Valley. It's even just as hot as like Sahara Desert, Middle East, stuff like that. It gets hot out there.
Wow. Huh.
Yeah.
That's wild. Yeah, I mean it's hot over here, so if it just maybe like slightly warmer over there or something.
Yeah,
like
like
it's pretty
usually-
fucking hot over here.
Yeah. Havasu like
Well, you guys go
130.
outside today? It was.
That's what I was telling him. I'm like, man, I stepped in the attic earlier, man.
Yeah.
And I had to sit down, and then I'm sitting down, and it's hot. I'm like, God damn it.
Yeah, what shit was like 145 in there?
It was like 140 degrees in the attic, man.
Whoa, that's crazy.
Yeah,
That's like you'll die up there.
Yeah, if you stay up there long, I'm like, hey, let me get my picture up.
Yeah. Wow, that's
Yeah, no.
wild. Huh. Yeah, maybe just like averages slightly higher temperatures or something.
Yeah, it's usually like 130, 135. Like
I would
that's the
imagine like
peak.
all the 135. Oh wow, that's pretty significantly
I've
hotter.
seen it get so unbearably hot there.
It's like your attic.
Yeah, exactly. Like it gets so bad there.
Wow.
And the weather gets there crazy.
I
Like
wonder
there was
what the
one
reason
time.
it gets that much hotter.
There ain't nothing out there.
Yeah.
There ain't nothing consuming that heat.
So see,
It's
like what
just
I was
heat.
thinking is that like because of the buildings and all the asphalt and all the overdevelopment, it'd be hotter over here. Like the asphalt's gonna like reflect a lot of heat and
That's what I said. I said, with the pollution and because that holds
Yeah.
that stuff in. And then, like you said, you got the black asphalt.
Yeah, the
which
buildings.
builds, and then that holds it. We never go below 100 once
Yeah.
it gets over to 110.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's crazy.
yeah, I
It
mean, if you
really
walk
is.
in the middle of downtown Phoenix, like with all these like mirrored buildings and stuff, and the asphalt everywhere, I mean, it's horrible.
Yeah. No.
See,
Maybe
and
it
I
has
burn
to do
easy.
something to do with the lake or something. Why it gets hotter?
That does fall suit with it, and then because it's such a small town, there's so much open space and desert, so it just cooks. And then just like right where it's located, it's really not too far from Death Valley because it's right on the Colorado River going into California.
Interesting. Yeah, I'm thinking maybe like reflection off the lake gets super hot air and that pushes into the city.
Prana
Something like that.
3D, that was actually filmed in Lake Havasu.
Prana 3D.
Yeah, I don't know if you remember that movie.
I don't remember seeing that movie.
It was like 10, 12 years ago, bro. It came out. It was actually filming in Lake Havasu when I was in high school because it was about how like there's a rift that opened up in the lake. These massive piranhas came out. But like that lake itself, it gets hot. And technically, it has a cannibalistic bacteria in there that when it
Whoa.
gets too hot, they would actually technically have to cut off the lake because people could get sick from it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Really?
It's so- I think it's only happened,
Cannibalistic
like,
meaning,
once.
Like it'll eat you.
Like flesh eating, yeah.
Oh wow.
And
Yeah.
it's dormant until a
Yeah.
certain temperature.
Yeah, so it's very rare. Like I think it's only ever happened maybe once
Do they
in the
like
entire time.
tell you that in school? Like, hey, don't go in that lake out there when you get older.
No, if
That's
it's just a
something
little
that we
warning.
should all know.
Yeah, right.
I should have the decision to get in there with the.
Yeah, no, it gets hot. But honestly, I think the heat is such a great factor with like MMA and everything because like out in Lake Havasu, there's Bridge City Combat, there's fighters out there too. Bro, just trying to deal with this heat as an athlete is a whole nother level.
Training outside in it, trying to do cardio and that.
Yep. Yeah.
I do all my cardio indoors now. That's
how I am.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, that assault bike is what I've been trying to do to better my cardio lately.
Oh, that kills me, bro.
that thing's
kills me.
horrible. I
It is.
absolutely hate it.
Man,
It is.
I don't know. As much as we've talked about heat, I love hiking and stuff, man. I love running up and running while you hike, not the
Yeah.
walking thing. It's cool. That's sightseeing. Hiking.
Yeah.
But I like hiking, like running up mountains.
I
things
can't do
like
that.
That's
Nice.
I like that.
That's a good point because I also do enjoy that. I wouldn't mind actually working out outdoor or like riding my bike or hiking or something like that. It's just my walk from my house to my car that pisses me off. and then getting in my car that's been 130 degrees because it's been fucking
Right.
being baked on. These are the things that piss me off.
I have zero motivation to go outside. After I see the sun, I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
we're here again.
Right. Yeah.
Like it starts here and every step it's down.
Exactly.
Yeah, man. Unless we really have to, I'm staying
Yeah.
inside.
Right. Yeah. Or like I was mentioning, we're going to Flagstaff this weekend
Yeah.
too. It's like high of 80 degrees over there, low of 50. It's like,
Dang.
2 hours away. I could get into beautiful weather again.
Yeah,
It's gorgeous.
See, when we went to Tucson, we should have went that way.
We should have gone north.
That's the last time we went
Yeah.
somewhere. We went down to Tucson. I'm like, damn, it's
Yeah.
hot.
Oh, it was
Exactly.
roasting out there.
Yeah. Last summer, she suggested doing a camping or doing like just like a weekend vacation or something in southern Arizona. I'm like, no, not until the weather gets nice. We'll go like somewhere north.
Yeah.
That's when the weather's hot over here, only higher
hot.
elevation.
It's too
Yeah.
hot.
Yeah.
Or interviews. We'll do a whole interview.
And then like not hit record.
And it's always the
worst.
one where like, dude, you got to go watch that last interview. It was great. And he's like, where's it at?
Yeah, it's not hit. Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, that's
Always
the
those
worst.
interviews.
See,
Damn.
and especially too for fighters, for grapplers, or just an athlete. Period. You know, it's your name and your exposure. That's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
So for us, like we take a lot of pride in making sure this shit gets out. So when we get a technical issue, it's like, bro, all hell's break loose. We got to
Yeah.
make sure we get that back and run it back.
Yeah,
Right,
for sure. Damn, that's too bad. So what is throwing hands?
So it's a show that we run on a week to week basis, and basically combat sports. That's what our focus is. We do all different types of combat sports, and the main thing behind it was to connect the fan to the person outside of the cage or the person
okay.
outside of the ring.
Yeah.
And who they really are. Because I think a lot of times, and especially in combat sports more in general, I think boxing, they get a little bit more publicity and outside the ring.
Yeah.
Because that's what they use a lot.
And they've
to
been around
promote
for a lot longer.
themselves. Right. But overall, in a lot of combat sports, you don't really get anything else.
Know who the
out
guy
of
is.
them. You know, other than what's in the ring. You know, and you look at guys like GSP, you look at guys like John Jones and Connor and these guys, and you, after being able to have all the exposure and seeing who they are and their personalities, and there's so much, a lot of stuff that's going on in combat sports
Yeah.
that people don't get to see. And
Yeah.
So I just took I guess you could say an initiative. I just took a liking in wanting to get that out.
Nice.
Get people's stories out. And connect that side of it, because I was once the fan.
Yeah.
Like, I wonder what he's really like. Like, you know what I mean? And how they would Dana with the show with the house. That first season was dope as hell.
Yeah.
And I mean, look at all the fighters we got out of just those first 5 seasons.
You talking about like the Ultimate Fighter?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Tough.
and if you look at that, that propelled UFC honestly to what we are at today.
It was really cool seeing a behind the scenes though thing, like
Who they are.
just let me bang, bro.
Oh my god.
That is hilarious.
I just want to bang.
That is hilarious.
Or Rampage fucking knocking down that door.
Bro,
Rampage.
that was a great scene.
But
Yeah.
even going back to Forrest and Stefan,
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, bro.
to see them in the house, who they were,
Yeah.
and then to go see that
That
ending.
incredible fight. Yeah.
Oh my god!
And then they both get the contract.
dude, you had
That was
such a
incredible,
sick-
you
yeah.
had to.
Yeah. That was incredible.
And then what they turned out to be in their careers was really dope.
Yeah.
So
Until
but-
Stefan died.
Yeah.
R.I.P.
Yeah, for real, bro.
That is terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like some sort of routine surgery too, or something, right?
Yeah, it was. I
think
from,
so.
From what I heard, it was nothing they were afraid
Like
of.
they weren't
Yeah.
expecting him to die.
And it just happened out of nowhere.
Yeah.
I remember they were talking about it. And see, that's the thing with fighters, especially, that like what you were just saying, that I feel like they really didn't touch on for a while, is the human side. Because oftentimes when you think about it, fighters, they're not only working a 9-to-5 job, they may
Yeah.
be doing construction, 12-hour shifts, overnight security. They're also doing the training every
Yeah.
day, 4 to 8 hours, putting in all that work, breaking down their body. And it's not even for a guaranteed win every single time.
No.
That's the risk you run. And it's always been such a unforgiving sport that I feel like our approach to it is to really show the human element and what these guys are about.
Nice.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And excuse me, but to add to that, just looking at that whole dynamic of watching a guy train, and then he loses 2-3 fights in a row.
Yeah.
Especially nowadays, and this we talked about a lot too, is MMA and these different, outside of boxing, you don't get a lot of. They're not forgiving.
Yeah.
You get a 3-fight losing streak, you might be done.
Yeah. For
You
sure.
know what I mean? And
Yeah, it's crazy in boxing. You may have your first 25 fights are all cans. Just to get really pad up a record if people are behind you.
we talk about that too. Is you don't get to do that over here.
Yeah, like usually for professional debuts, they'll try to have good matchups. Maybe your first 2-3 fights, but after that, you're trying to challenge yourself and
Yep.
get after it.
I mean, because you don't have a lot of time.
Yeah,
And I think
That is a
that's
big
an
part of it, too.
aspect of that's another aspect of why we kind of wanted to push and help, and especially locally.
Yeah.
Because what's after fighting? And the only thing that's after fighting is your brand, who you are.
Yeah, for sure.
And being able to speak on that and get those people to follow you and build your sponsorships up, and so you can take that and maybe you want to coach.
Yeah.
Or you can take that and maybe you want to open a gym.
For sure.
Or you want to do something that kind of carry that
Yeah.
on with you.
Yeah, it is really important for fighters to be just more than just fighting. It is interesting too, because at the end of the day, we're fans of the sport because of fighting, but
Yep.
like it's pushed so heavily that they need to be entertaining and sell tickets and bring eyes to the sport beyond just putting on great performances. So
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
why it's such a balance with it. Because like I always say that Conor McGregor, he's the one that found the target for the entertainment aspect, but Sean O'Malley is one that really wrote the formula. Because when you're able to not only provide that entertainment, that charisma, but you can also put your money where your mouth is, you're going to set yourself up for success. 'Cause,
Yeah.
I mean, when you really break it down for these fighters, when they have a charismatic personality and they develop such a large enough following, they have so many opportunities to where they could retire by opening up different brands, different companies. They could start
Yeah.
their own services, things that can also build their own community as
Yeah.
well. So I feel like the branding of the fighter is so important in that element.
Yeah. Well, also, I think branding is like maybe an interesting way to put it, because it's true. Like they need to be something that is bigger than them just fighting, but it has to be an honest expression of who they really are.
That authenticity.
Otherwise, like it looks horrible. It's like you could just smell the fakeness. Out of
Colby
it.
Covington.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like he's like super cringy. Although he's found a way to even make that work, kind of. But like, there's plenty of people that try to become like the shit talking person just because they see Conor McGregor doing it, and then like it's just so forced. One of the reasons that Conor was so great is because I'm guaranteed whether that guy's fighting you for a title fight or fucking playing you in ping pong, he's in your ear talking shit.
Yep.
He sounds like that guy that you don't want to end up with at the dartboard or at the pool table
Yeah,
at the bar, and
exactly.
you guys are taking shots.
Yeah.
Like, you fuck.
You
Like,
know
he
he's
just
that guy.
sounds like
Yeah,
that guy.
Gotta be running his
You know
mouth.
he's the guy. Yeah, and because also too he was hilarious with it.
Oh
He
my
was so
God.
funny. He's like,
The red
3
panty night.
elephants died making this coaster movie to watch.
Gosh, what I loved about him was the psychological warfare and how far it went. Like with Jose
Yeah.
Aldo, when he was talking about when he was in Brazil, if this was ancient times, I'd be coming in on a horse, just purging villages, stuff like that. And like that's war talk.
That was one
right
of the
there.
most sickest fucking speeches ever.
Right.
Yeah, he's like, he's talking like I'm he's the king and I'm the Joker.
No.
He's like, if this was a different time, I would invade his favela on horseback and kill anyone who was unfit to walk. He's
I
like,
love
but
that.
this is a different time, so I'll just kick his ass in July. Yeah, but what a beast.
That and then going in and doing it.
Yeah,
Yep.
and then going in and
Oh.
doing it, especially because Jose is one of the greatest ever.
Period.
Probably
Period.
still. And like at the time was on this 14 fight 12 fight undefeated win streak.
And
Like
people
10
are talking
years?
about him possibly being just one of the greatest pound for pound ever to do
Ever,
it.
yeah.
Mighty Mouse, they were still talking shit about how he should have fought Mighty Mouse before they left out
Yeah.
a couple times. Man, there was so much shit going on with Jose during that time. So for him,
Yeah.
Connor to come and do it, and
In
like
8
you
seconds.
said, the way he talked about it though,
Yeah.
the way he talked about it
Yeah,
though,
in the lead up.
and then to do it like that,
Oh my God, how incredible!
that's why we could talk about Kobe, and I make fun of it because Kobe it looks like a WWE routine.
Yeah, he's just a
And-
goofball.
Yeah, it
I mean,
looks
you
like a
hear people that
WWE
are like in
routine.
a circle and they say that's not really him. He's just
Yeah.
putting on that thing. Well, also too, like legitimately, he was about to be cut from the UFC on this
Yes.
like 7-fight win streak, and then he was in Brazil and said the Brazilians are a bunch of filthy animals, and then, like that all of a sudden like went like crazy.
and
yeah.
he just ran with it.
Yeah.
And that's why I said it was like a WWE skit. And,
Yeah.
but the difference was Connor. Number one, whether you hate him or you like him,
Yeah.
you're laughing.
Yeah,
Yep.
it was his
It's stuck
onyx
in your
expression.
head. Yep. And then he does it.
Yeah, and then he goes out and performs.
It's a totally different level.
Yeah.
Totally different level.
It is cool.
Now, how do you guys feel about the whole situation with Conor and Chandler right now? Like, do you think it's actually going to move forward, or is it just going to keep on being like the Habib and Tony Ferguson situation?
Dude, I don't know. I think that like Connor's just in the driver's seat, and that just fucking sucks for Michael. Because on one hand, I get it. Like he wants that payday. Someone said something hilarious because Michael was talking shit about I think like sitting out or like not accepting a fight or something. And the guy was like, bro, you're one to talk about not accepting a fight. He's like, you could have lost 3 exciting fights by now, but you've been waiting for Conor. You know? Yeah.
No,
so
you
funny.
know, I feel, I don't know, I'm kind of 50-50 about it.
That's how I am.
Because Chandler, if you really wanted to fight him, you could have been in the UFC a long time ago. If you really, really wanted to fight the guy.
If you wanted to fight Conor?
Yeah, you could have been over here a long time ago. You waited a long time to come to the UFC.
Yeah, but that's just how it played out too.
It is-
I mean, if he would have known for sure he could have fought Conor, I bet you would have made that move earlier. I mean, anyone would have done it.
But at
Yeah.
that time, who else would he have fought?
Yeah, when he first came over, or when he was like the biggest.
When he was big over there, when he
Yeah.
was still running shit. If he would have skipped over at that time period,
Yeah.
who else would he have fought?
Well, he
Conor
would've
was running shit.
Yeah, although you have to become to the champion because Conor's run has been become the champion, become the double champ, peace, I'm out. You know,
Pretty much,
And
yeah.
that was
Yeah.
basically it. You know, now he's like had fights on the comeback basically, but this has been once a year ish. You know, once every 2 years ish.
But
So-
I think at that time, with what Mike was doing over in Bellator or whatever, that would have been a big enough draw just because he came over. One fight for a warm up or a tune up,
Yeah.
and they would have ended up giving it to him because
Yeah,
Conor was
maybe.
the biggest. That would probably would have been the biggest thing at that time. And then the same thing with what's his name that just switched over from Bellator.
MVP.
Yep, MVP.
okay, yeah.
Those two guys waited forever.
I wish MVP would have came over earlier too.
Both of those guys, they waited forever.
Yeah.
No, honestly, I feel like maybe a large play in that was just the dynamic between Dana White, UFC, and these other promotions. Because when you look like more in the earlier days, you didn't see a lot of these trade-offs between other promotions. It was much more exclusive. But then
Yeah.
once you saw what happened with Demetrius Johnson for Ben Askren,
Yeah.
and then we got
What a
Kayla
shitty
Harrison.
trade that ended up being.
The funky funniness was there, but the
Yeah.
actual athleticism was not there.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, that definitely is a dynamic. But I mean, they were the biggest of Bellator at that time.
I think that's probably part of it too. It was that like Bellator, because they were such big names, Bellator was giving them serious checks, and it might have been a legitimate pay cut initially to come to the UFC.
Correct.
Yeah, and so maybe that was the trepidation for them.
because they were literally the biggest draw in
Yeah.
Bellator.
Yeah.
And everybody wanted to fight them. That was their whole thing. So there's no telling what behind closed doors they could have been throwing cars at them or this or
Yeah.
that. You know what I mean? Anything.
Yeah, for sure. But
especially
these are
because
two
of that.
guys that like kind of just like you were talking about, like they transcended the sport, you know, because I remember following Michael Chandler just getting after it in the fucking gym every single day. And this was long before he was in the UFC.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that guy has to be one of the hardest workers in MMA.
Yeah.
His shit, when he's like, I watched some of his training and the things he does, just an animal. I remember there was one time when he was grappling with Kamaru Usman,
Yeah.
and just rolling nonstop over
Oh,
and
yeah.
over and over again. I'm like, damn, that dude is just, he's like straight up. It doesn't matter what position he is,
Yeah.
he just worms his way out and then he gets in a dominant position again.
Yeah.
He's strong as hell. That's why I feel like, man, if we would have saw a younger Chandler versus a younger McGregor, that would have been dope.
Would have been
Yeah.
sick. It'd have been completely up to Connor though.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
the thing, you know.
Oh,
like
yeah.
he picks and chooses.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like with the red panty thing. Like he's like, he's like, you get happy if you get the call from me. He's like, you just that.
Dude,
that's all you can hope for.
When you look at his list of the names he crossed out, that's why he can do that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Right.
I mean, he just had. Yeah, I mean, it was just the perfect. Up and
The
coming.
setup.
It was extremely frequent fighting. He really took minimal damage in most of his fights.
Yep.
He was just staying after it, talking so much shit,
Yep.
and then backing it up time and time again. And then also too, initially, if you remember his first loss against Nate Diaz,
Yep.
he handled it like a fucking champion. It was such a honorable way to handle a loss that he said, he just came at it like, this is. He's like, I just miscalculated what a bigger man can do. He's like, he was just hitting me with the shots. I expected him to waver after the first round, but he didn't. And that was it. You could see Connor completely emptied the gas tank in the first round. And by the second, he's tired. Connor shoots the takedown.
Yep.
And that's how he gets sprawled on and then mounted and then fucking back taken and choked.
And then he spends how many million a year on his body after that?
Yeah.
It's like 5 million
Yeah.
or something like
His
a year.
fight with Eddie Alvarez after that, oh my gosh. Like, how do you land an 8-punch combo with the dude falling down?
Yeah, what a beast.
But Connor, man, listen, Connor LeBron James. Like, there's a couple of guys that just they're so in shape. They take everything is not just basketball, not just fighting, but me.
Yeah.
That's especially after that fight. That was like the one where he was like, damn, okay.
Yeah.
If I'm going up, this dude is a little bit stronger. Those punches do affect me a little bit more. Even if it's not hurting me, I can't take that all day.
Yeah.
And then after that, dude was an animal.
Yeah, for sure.
He was a legit animal after that fight.
Well, he fought Chandler, and then he had the Floyd Mayweather fight, and then he fucking made $100 million, and then since then, he's just never taken it as seriously.
Yeah, and I feel like when you look at his stance from before and after the Mayweather fight, the boxing is what really did him dirty in that sense because he was more so karate, counter style originally with that Kapora as well. But then after boxing, he was more heavy footed, leaning forward, more boxer composition.
You're talking about like when he fought Poirier.
yeah.
Yeah,
Right,
like that's a great example. And then Poirier just chopped down
Ate
that
up
leg.
that leg. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, at the time, I think this was just where Connor's one of the reasons it made him great, but it's like his delusion about himself. They were big talks about Connor potentially fighting Manny Pacquiao, and Manny's a southpaw, and Dustin Poirier is a southpaw, and so I think he in his head is okay. This is just a little warm up fight for Manny. I'm gonna walk into it like I'm gonna walk into a boxing fight,
Right.
And then obviously got his leg kicked off and then knocked out.
But Connor was partying by then.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Hardcore.
And he wasn't
for sure.
partying.
Wasn't
he
the
wasn't
same
partying
on his come up. Yeah,
at
for
all.
sure. No.
And so, and even if you look at him now, you listen to him like talk and stuff. His conversation and what his goal. He's done.
Yeah.
He's not worried
I mean, to be
about
honest,
it.
like, good on him for being, the guy's got to be worth $500 million or something.
Oh, yeah, easy.
And he's still, like, getting in the cage, I mean,
And he doesn't
need
have
to at
to.
all. Yeah. He doesn't need to at all.
And that's the other thing
It's
about
one thing, it's respectable, but at the same time, it's like, it might have been better of just to walk off and, like, let everyone just know, like, who knows what would have happened.
I will say this, and this is the same thing with Jake Paulish. You're giving someone a payday that's changing their life.
Yeah.
And so I respect
You think he's doing it for the
that.
charity?
I honestly, not necessarily for the charity, but yeah, for the charity.
There's definitely
like,
people that.
there has to
yeah.
be. There's no other reason for him to really come back to the sport.
I think it's his own ego. Like, he thinks he's beating these people.
Do
Like,
you really?
Oh, he came back
think he's
fighting
addicted to
Khabib,
it.
thinking that, like, I'm gonna drink fight week and still fucking flying knee him as he like comes in for the
But
takedown.
he hated him.
Yeah, there was some.
He hated him.
It's hard to understand like how much of that is true beef and how much of it like he kind of creates as true beef. Like it's. Like he did say some horrible stuff about
He
it.
hates him. No,
About his wife,
they
too.
hate each other. They
Yeah,
like
for
they
sure.
hated like
Yeah,
Connor. That one.
he threw
was-
that thing through the bus.
Yes,
at him.
Yeah, that's the,
That fight and that talk shit,
Yeah.
that was different
Yeah.
than all the other ones.
Yeah, for sure.
Like those other ones, we were laughing
Yeah.
and they were really talking shit.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
exactly.
There was no comedic
Yeah.
bullshit. No, he was like, "I'm gonna kill you when I get my hands on you. I'm gonna fuck you up."
That was one after the end. They didn't even give Khabib the belt because it was such chaos in the,
Yeah.
in, the
Yeah.
in the stadium.
They had to get everybody out the ring.
Yeah, because he had
exactly.
jumped the cage. He
Yeah.
actually,
Khabib
drop
jumped
kick
first.
Dylan Dennis?
Yeah, exactly. He did the flying eagle. On
Dude. That they hated each other.
Yeah.
Their camps
Bad.
hated each
Yeah.
other.
Yeah.
But I think now though, I really think there's nothing. Connor doesn't owe anything. He's
Nah.
done.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
He has to. It has to be just for the sport, and helping these guys out now. That's what I think.
I think he'd give a fuck about anyone else. I don't think
I mean,
he's.
he is getting probably 100.
I mean, he's getting paid for sure
yeah.
too. That's true for sure. I mean, but the guy has so many businesses outside of it.
Yeah.
You'd imagine that he's still got plenty of money, even though I'm sure he spends
Yeah.
like crazy. Like what did he sell Proper 12 for? Was like 150 million or something
yeah.
like that just for a portion of it. So to sell a company for that, it's got to be profiting 25, 30 a year or something like that. So, I mean, the guy's got to be making tons of money. And that's like one of like 4 businesses he's got. So,
Yeah, and I personally feel like with him, it's like the fighting, that's what saved him. And now he's at a point too where there's so much distractions that's easy for his life to spiral out of
Yeah.
control. So it's like the fighting, that's a safe place. So I feel like
Yeah.
he's addicted to, in a sense, that this is what kind of helps keep him sane.
Yeah.
The training, the fighting, even though that like it's time that like
Yeah.
maybe shouldn't be doing it anymore.
Well, that is a
And he
good
did
point.
it for so long.
Yeah.
Exactly. As I was gonna say, like if you do that from the time you're 14 or something, your entire life, and this is what's made you who you
It's
are.
all you know.
It's kind of like, yeah, he's almost got to pull back to that.
It's kind of like Volk with the dancing.
Yeah.
Go ahead and dance. What do I do? Okay. I'm just,
Yeah.
that was hilarious. That was hilarious. But yeah, I agree, man. It does look, because ever since he's been out of the sport, even the boxing, I don't really think he trains the same way. I don't really think he takes it serious the same way. He doesn't. It doesn't even look like Conor in the boxing ring.
Yeah.
So-
Although it was only the one boxing fight, right? That he
Yeah,
had
with
against
Mayweather.
Floyd.
Mayweather, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
right?
I mean,
that's a tough guy to
You said
have
the
a
delusion.
professive performance against, though, too.
he did, but
I mean, a tough guy to like work or like, wow,
Oh,
he,
yeah.
like, beat
Yeah.
the shit out. He did land like an uppercut on him, which is
Oh,
like
yeah.
one of maybe 7 shots that guy's taken his entire career.
I was gonna say forever, but I just think Conor is just, ever since he got done, he's just chilling, man, and
Yeah.
he doesn't care what people say. He's one of the true people that I can honestly say when I look at them, and he don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
He don't care.
Yeah.
And so I hope, for me personally, I hope he walks away and just fucking lives his life,
Yeah.
because you can't do that shit forever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah.
know?
He's already got one titanium sham bomb.
And that freaking, that ankle.
That was bad.
Oh, that
That's a-
snap was terrible. Yeah.
Oh,
And, I mean, who else have we seen recover from that? Chris Weidman ain't the same. Anderson Silva ain't the same. I can't remember the other guy that happened to, but like
Yeah.
MMA, it's so unforgiving. I mean,
Those
they're
are
gonna.
horrible.
The point of MMA.
Oh, it was Chris
is-
Weidman. It also happened to.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
actually. Yeah, it happened on Chris Weidman, then Chris Weidman also.
Yep,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's such an unforgiving sport that the fundamental of MMA is to exploit the weakness.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going against somebody who's dominantly a striker, but their jiu-jitsu is not up to par, you're exploiting the weakness. If it's vice versa, same thing. Like,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
what's that? I'm trying to remember the Ryan. He's the black belt. He's always getting people in omoplatas in the UFC. He's the dude that got knocked out by Ilia Topuria when he kept on doing those rolls.
Oh, you're talking about Ryan Hall.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, like him. Like, we're probably not going to see him have much success against people that actually stand and trade. So,
yeah.
and that's probably what they're going to
Yeah.
try to exploit too,
Yeah.
like Ilia Topuria.
Yeah, exactly. Well, he's just like fucking. Was it Ilya Topuria where he was
caught
doing
his
the-
arm like this, and then bam, bam, bam,
Oh
knocked
wow!
him out.
Yeah, how crazy! Yeah, he was just fucking spamming him in eye
Yep.
rolls. He probably did 30 that
Yeah.
fight
Yeah.
or something.
and he
That's
finally
crazy.
got caught.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's not a good strategy. Though. You would think because he's actually a pretty smart jujitsu mind, at least for sure, and he's very into the strategy and stuff. Like I've watched his instructionals, so it's interesting that at some point realize, okay, hey, this is not
Not working.
Yeah, so the 17th failed him an Ari roll.
You know-
Although imagine on that fucking 37th one, it finally hits.
That's like, okay, that's why I kept doing it.
and I was gonna say that's probably why he kept doing it.
Yeah.
I wonder what his coach was saying, what his corner.
Yeah,
was
you
saying.
gotta like at some point pull away from that. I mean, it's not gonna work.
Yeah, because
Or
I mean,
we're
you saw it, he
firing
was
somebody.
reading it.
Like, or after this, you know what? I'm gonna have to go to a different jail.
Yeah, it's like trying to talk Dustin Poirier out of jumping the guillotine.
I was literally about to say that too.
Yeah,
Hey, but he be having some solid ones.
yeah, no, he does. Yeah, he's got a good one.
They
He
be
almost
in
had
there.
Khabib in one.
They be in there.
Yeah, exactly,
And
yeah.
you can see him too. Like, I'm gonna get it. We were just saying that before the last one. They were showing all of them. Remember?
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. How many that like popped out and stuff?
Yeah.
See, I'm still trying to get the Ezekiel choke, and then so I have my own way of doing a twister. I still haven't perfected it, but I've been trying for like 2.5 years to get it. It's
Oh,
such a pain in the
interesting.
ass.
What's the uniqueness about it?
So I did it on accident originally because I had somebody, they were on side control on me, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna see about shrimping out their top leg if I could frame it just enough. Caught him unexpectedly. Quickly pushed out, and I got my legs wrapped up in between that leg, and I just pulled it in and locked it with a figure 4.
Okay.
So basically, when you're in that position, your spine is already completely twisted. That all I gotta do is lean my center of gravity over. You're gonna fall. Doesn't matter how hard you fight it, and then just matter of getting the top of the skull right here, and then cranking it for the twister.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I'd have to see that.
Yeah, it's. Usually, I can only do it once or twice until you start picking it up because it's
Yeah.
easy to counter it once you know what it is.
Yeah, for sure. Interesting. It's like the dummy roll. Or something.
Yeah.
I think that's what it's called. Like,
Yeah.
When going from side control to side control.
Yeah,
It's like
'cause I
you
literally-
get one of those once, but then like once they're onto it, all you need is once competition.
Exactly. Exactly. I was so close to getting it one time on this purple belt. I forget his name, but I was so close. It's just I couldn't get to the top portion before he slipped out, and then my gas was already gone.
Okay. Wow. Where do you train at?
Since I moved out here, it's been kind of on and off. I was training over at Dragon Snake, but just being so busy doing all this stuff, I haven't had time. But otherwise, out in Lake Havasu, I was at Bridge City for a while, like Devin Ray, Trenton Byers, who's a multi-promotion champion, Brandon Elizondo, too. And they all train over at 10th Planet Vegas, too.
Oh wow, nice.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Wow. Do you train?
I don't. So
Just a
when
fan
I
of the
was
sport?
younger, when I was younger, you know, growing up, did it here and there. Just never really got consistent. I played so many other sports, basketball, here and there. So
Yeah.
just never really got consistent.
Just a fan of the sport?
Yeah, yeah.
Nice.
Just grew up just loving it.
Yeah.
All the way back from the Pride days, you know, Chuck Liddell and Keith
Yeah.
Jardines and
Vanderlei
sure.
Silva.
Yeah.
yeah. So that was my thing, and then what really got me into doing this as a whole. So I started a sports network, and I covered ASU football here and there, and I have people set up in different states, and I help them get their credentials and do that type of stuff. So, but I really love combat sports. I just really love it. So, and I didn't never really seen any coverage out here for it. So I was like, okay. Got into it, started going down a rough. That was my first promotion I started covering. I just love the ambiance, you know, celebrity theater.
Nice, yeah.
All that stuff. And those guys down there are great. CJ, Jason, Joel. So just vibing in there, and you know, it was a really they put on a great family atmosphere too. So it felt, you know, homey. You know what I mean? So I started doing that and just spectating for one or two shows, and then like, okay, maybe we can do some interviews. So tell you, like,
Yeah.
you don't get to know anybody.
Yeah.
I get to see him. I'm like, okay, his personality looks good. You know,
Yeah.
all the theatrics that they put on before getting in, but you
This
don't.
guy just knocks someone the fuck out.
And then, you know,
What
did
does
a
he do for
backflip
work?
off the.
I hammer shit for a living.
Yeah, but no, it comes down to kind of like that.
Yeah.
And then you start, you know, being around some of the people and how cool they are, and so I started interviewing them, and that's how me and him ended up meeting. We were at Handlebars for one of the weigh-ins.
I was actually interviewing Ezra Elliott from Red Hawk Academy
Nice.
when he was just 2 feet over, said what's up, and that was like 3 weeks after we started talking and talking about working together.
I'm not. I was something
Yeah.
close to that. I think I was looking for Wild Man. Wild
That's
Man
right.
and Jacquez.
That's right.
They were doing
Nice.
the road to one.
That's right.
So
Ezra's a monster.
he
Yeah,
is.
I think that's
bro.
like that might be one of like Arizona's greatest up and comers right now.
He really
Yeah.
is, and I love his demeanor too because he's very chill. He's not like trying to be like what we say a forced character, doing this and that.
No.
he's just straightforward with how he is, and his
Yeah.
personality is just natural with it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's really good. I mean, if you roll with him, like you feel it. Like he's he's a fucking problem, and he's gonna be.
Oh, yeah.
And he's got the work ethic and dedication and stuff. Like he could be very good.
Yeah, and we talk about the Arizona circuit right now is packed full
Yeah.
of talent. It's every weight class, all throughout, and it's crazy to watch and bounce around into different promotions and just see the little nucleuses
Yeah.
and all the talent that's in the pool, man.
Yeah. Arizona's got a big scene actually.
Yeah,
Huge.
Yeah.
It's
it's
huge.
massive. Like we got people literally from international waters that come here to train, to fight, like Jonathan Hogland from Sweden,
Yeah.
Besnik Gashi from Albania, Abdul Kamaru from Nigeria, and then actually another good buddy of mine, he trains over at Dragon Snake, PJ Jordan. He's from South Africa. So, I mean, I think it really says something, the fact that Arizona's become this central point, this main checkpoint for athletes to come really start training. So I
Yeah.
think last 2.5 years we've done about 1,200 interviews now.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
Yes.
a ton. That's crazy.
Yeah.
We-
Wow.
We try to stay busy, man. We try to do something like at least 2 to 3 times a month.
Nice.
Find something to get.
That's good. It's all
get
just
out
about
there.
staying consistent.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just making sure you've got like a routine and you're staying consistent with it.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Well, that's legit. Yeah. And where there's also a lot of like people doing stuff that's just good for the Arizona community.
Yep.
Like
Right.
whether it's like Jay Page's open mat, that's open to anyone, anytime. You go there any given Sunday, there's like 100+ people there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's incredible. To like Steele at 10th Planet Scottsdale putting on these like no-gi spring training camps. I don't know if you saw that, the most recent one, but there's like guys in the top 5, top 10 in their weight class in jiu-jitsu, like in the entire sport, coming to teach seminars over there. And there's about 8 people.
I didn't know about that.
Oh, really?
That's
I mean, he
crazy.
had like Giancarlo Bedoni, who was an ADCC champion, Ethan Kreslinston, whatever you say his last name, from the B team. He's legit, just won a WNO tonight. Fucking Andy Varela, like, I mean, just a bunch of like legit names in the jiu-jitsu scene coming to teach a seminar.
And then when we walked in here, you seen our photographers, you know, from the
Over at Floor
Wrestling, bouncing around, you know. It's like-
yeah, what's her name?
Katie, right? Katie photography.
Yeah. I see her taking pictures everywhere.
Yeah.
She's taking pictures at WNO. Yeah, good for her.
Yeah, that was funny. Taylor's like trying to pull the phone. I was like, oh wait, I gotta get a shot of her.
Yeah, it's
That's
just,
funny.
it's dope to see, man. Like,
Yeah.
you know, and then now we got the the connection to the Philippines and Thailand
Mm-hmm.
and you know,
With Craig Jones' Ladyboys. That's what you're saying. No.
no,
I'm just
but
kidding.
Vin
SAA,
Saiba.
yes,
Yeah.
SAA. They have one of our boys, Jose Aquino, is actually going to be performing this weekend.
Yeah.
This is the 22nd, yeah.
Yeah, Jose Aquino.
Yeah, so he just flew out to Thailand for that. I mean,
Is that Muay Thai he's doing or MMA?
he's doing Muay
Nice.
Thai.
Wow.
But just seeing those things. Mike Martinez just went out there recently, right? He just
Yeah.
came back from Thailand.
Yeah, his son Antonio Martinez, who's actually from Flagstaff, and he trains down here too sometimes. He was just over for Thailand like 3-4 months just training, and like this is Vin Ziveth, Hazor Ziveth Gym. He describes Arizona as Bangkok, Arizona, because I mean this is also becoming a checkpoint for Muay Thai period too.
Wow.
Yeah,
Huh,
so
that's interesting.
It's really dope to see, you know, the amount of people that are supporting it. Number one,
Yeah.
and Arizona in the last 5-6 years, the influx of people.
Oh yeah,
Insane.
That's a good
Crazy.
point too. So like, regardless of the particular sport, there's just so much more
So
people
many more
coming here in
people.
general.
And
yeah,
and what are they gonna do? We can't all be at the same water park. There's only like 2 water
Yeah.
parks out here. You know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah.
what are we all gonna do?
for sure.
So
I mean, during this last 4 years, like it's been like Arizona or Phoenix and Austin. Those 2 metros have been the number 1 and 2 metros in the entire United States.
Yeah.
So I mean, we're just growing as a population over here.
Right.
And people are realizing how fucking sick it is over here.
Yeah, isn't it like the second or fifth largest city in the entire U.S. now?
it's up there.
I don't know about that. We've got 7 million people, so
I think we're
I'm
like
not
the
sure.
second.
This would be a great
I know we're the
Jamie moment.
fastest growing.
Yeah, my girlfriend's been Jamie lately. But, yeah,
this
we've been
is
the
a-
fastest growing for a long time.
Like for the
and,
longest time.
Buckeye, Arizona was number 1 fastest growing for like 2 or
Wow.
3 years consecutively.
And Mesa was in the top 5 for a
Yeah.
while. I mean, so we getting all these people, and how many more baseball stadiums can we put up? I mean, how many more? So we
Yeah.
got to have other things to do.
For sure. Yeah.
And you know, people are coming from everywhere. We got people coming from New York, from California, and if you look at, they already had little stuff already set up in those places. So this is the perfect time for us to be taking advantage and
Yeah.
gain as much of the exposure we can.
For sure.
You know?
Yeah, that's a good point. And also too, what I think part of it is like the entire sport, whether it's MMA or I think jiu-jitsu especially, is still just at an infant stage in its progression. Like if you think comparatively to like football, the first Lombardi trophy was like in the 1940s or something.
long
like when
ago.
Hitler was alive and reigning, you know?
Yeah,
Like,
I mean,
this is-
boxing's been around for over 100 years too.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, there's like champions like that Jack Dempsey guy or something was a champion in like the early 1900s. I mean,
Cinderella Man.
yeah, exactly.
Put 'em all.
Yeah. I mean, these sports are just super old. I mean, and so UFC 1 was in 93, didn't
Yeah.
even really become popular till like, or I mean, mainstream at least till like the early 2000s. It was like
Yeah.
on Spike TV and stuff before then.
If it was on Spike TV. I
Yeah.
mean, there was times where we didn't even get to watch a lot of them, and you had to really go back. And when YouTube really became popular is when we really got to watch
Yeah.
a lot of the UFC 1 through 10. I mean,
Yeah.
unless you were right there at that moment, and even when UFC 1, it was hard to get it.
Yeah.
It was hard to get the actual
For sure.
the
Yeah.
viewing. Yeah,
And it was always observed as such a blood sport, and that's what really created such a bad dogma for
Yeah.
so long. And we're just finally now in the stage of breaking out of that frame of
Yeah,
mind.
where it's just a true sport. It's
Yeah.
not like they called it like human cockfighting and all that stuff. Yeah.
I mean, if you look at Pride, it was crazy.
Yeah,
Like Pride was crazy.
Early UFC days was crazy. Nut strikes were legal. No weight classes.
the one
stomping
boxing glove.
Tournament style. Yeah, one boxing glove, one
Dude, like
one
stomping
bare
your
knuckle.
head when you're on the floor. Like, come on,
yeah.
guys. Like, yeah.
It was crazy.
They
Yeah,
were
for
right.
sure.
They were
Yeah.
right. We needed some regulations.
Yeah.
We needed to clean it
Need
up
to
a
be
little
some
bit.
sort of rules. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys saw that one that was like, it was like a nut shot TKO where the guy had him in basically like, it was like what's it called? Like banana split position and then just like nut
I
shot
remember
TKO.
that.
Yeah.
I
had him like this.
remember that.
Yeah, legs splayed out and just.
That's
yeah, I mean,
bad.
that's rough.
That's true physical damage.
Hair pulling was legal too,
Yeah,
so
that's
people would have
right.
ponytails and people would grab and punch it.
Bro.
Yeah. I mean, think about it like this. They would have never been able to even create the women's division to what it is today if they would have kept those same rules.
Oh yeah,
It wouldn't have flew.
yeah,
It
for
wouldn't
sure.
have flew.
I think it's just like just a whole progression of it. It's like basically in those early days, it was like football playing with leather helmets.
Oh,
you know,
my gosh.
it was that's just what stage we are, but we
Yeah.
were in the '90s. Yeah,
And looking at it today, there's been a lot of changes. I mean, even like we're talking about the giving the stories out. Now they have the interviews in the ring. They're much different.
Yeah.
You know, the press conferences prior. So now you're getting a big boom on the people. Like
for sure.
It's
Now
turned
it's a
into
well-oiled machine
entertainment.
too.
Right.
Yeah, I mean they
right.
got that shit down packed.
It's turned into entertainment.
Yeah.
And not human cockfighting.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's
Although the whole goal of it initially was to see what sport or what practice within the martial arts
Was
is the
the
best.
best.
Yep.
Exactly. So
got out of that.
yeah. Well, I mean, it evolved into like, well, this is really good. Like, fucking Taekwondo can be incredible until you get taken down. Wrestling can be fantastic unless you can't fucking get them down.
Yep.
Like all these things, and then people just now MMA. There's hardly anyone who's a true specialist or like a one particular thing. You got to be extremely well rounded, and the guys that are coming up right now have been doing all of it since a young age.
I mean, look at Islam. We were just talking about it earlier. I mean, do we think that he's going to be beaten anytime soon?
Islam.
He's just too well rounded, and there's no one else out there.
takes
Volk
greater
came
risk,
real
though.
close on that first time. I mean,
That's
they
it.
could have went to Volk actually. Like it would if it went either way. I don't think it would have been a robbery either way. So
He takes more of a risk factor, that's for sure.
But have you seen his hands lately?
yeah,
That ain't gonna happen no more.
yeah.
I-
He's someone that improves every single time you see him
Dude,
fight, for
it's-
sure.
And it's hard, like when the distance between him and the next guy is already like this.
Yeah.
And then the next time you're like, dang.
Yeah.
Yep.
Damn. Like,
Exactly.
What the fuck?
Or if like you
He's
look
got
at
gap
that
coverage.
from Volk fight 1 to 2.
Dude.
Although Volk did take that on like 7 days notice or
Yeah.
something, dropped like whatever 30 pounds in a
Drinking
week.
beer on the couch.
Yeah, he was literally said he was drinking
Shadow
beer on the
boxing in the
couch.
closet.
Yeah. And then just got head kicked into oblivion.
Oh, I feel so bad for him,
That was-
especially
Yeah,
after
that was
Ilya.
horrible.
That was bad. And he was on a tear.
He was on a tear. Yeah.
And then that's
They were talking about pound for pound greatest in the league, in the division, in the sport right now.
that's going back to what we were talking about earlier. That's more of a reason why I do it. Like why we try to get these stories out. Because when's the last time you heard about Volk?
I follow Volk. I think
But-
I hear him out.
I like
Mainstream style.
Volk. So
Yeah.
I like Volk.
Yeah.
So I see his stuff. But when's the last time you heard about Volk?
Yeah. Well,
It's
he's got to
fucked
take a
up.
long time off.
But it's fucked up.
Yeah.
He was Volk was, we were always talking about
Yeah.
Volk. We were
Well,
always
also
seeing
too,
Volk.
part of like because of how consistent he was just recently until just right now. It's kind of like Justin Gaethje. You're not going to hear from for a while. I heard like he's going to take a complete year off before he fights again. After also getting sent into the shadow realm.
yeah.
But-
yeah, he said on live stream that his recovery for the surgery and for his nose is going to be like 6 to 8 months.
Yeah.
Especially with the amount of
Oh,
trauma
I forgot
he
about
took.
that. Broke his nose like
Yeah.
round one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he takes hits to the face. You should take some time off to let that
Yeah.
part heal. That's like the furthest point
Yeah,
out of your body.
exactly.
And it takes the most damage amongst fighters too.
Yeah. Well, especially after getting knocked out seriously. That's why Volk should have just taken more time off after after getting head kicked like that. You get knocked out, you should do nothing for 6 months.
Yep.
I think
Minimum.
Yeah, I think Justin has actually taken a whole year off before he's even training again. Just because of getting knocked out that horribly, like you don't want to do. Your brain is just like sensitive for like a long time after, maybe permanently damaged. Honestly, after something like that, most
Now-
likely is.
Speaking of how young the sport is, there's going to be a time where they start running tests on that.
And
No.
see the CTE.
Yep.
Yeah.
But it's going to be a weird dynamic too, because I think that the officials, the government or whatever, whoever puts the closed doors on
Yeah.
things, but I think that they kind of pick on MMA a little bit because
'Cause,
you
yeah.
got boxing.
And it's so
Boxing.
new, yeah.
Or the NFL has
NFL.
very similar problems.
Very.
People who like are fucking defensive ends for their entire career or fullbacks, all they're doing is head and head contact,
Yep.
mini concussions like every 7 seconds, every play, for their entire career.
8, 9. Well, back then, there was a lot of like gladiator guys who were paid for 14, 15 years. Offensive linemen.
Oh yeah,
13
you're
years,
right. Yeah,
man. Like,
and also too, you're right. Like even that sport's trying to like do as much as they can. Like they're trying to like implement rules like targeting, where like no helmet to helmet contact on a defenseless receiver. Back in the Dizzy, you'd have like Ray Lewis just fucking clean your clock
that's what I was
off
thinking, too.
right down
Oh
the
my
middle.
gosh.
or
like
going
that-
back to like the Ronnie Lott days. I mean, people playing with broken legs,
Yeah.
and clubbing people. And,
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean?
What
Like,
was it? Wasn't it like Emmanuel Sanders on the Broncos when he got just completely obliterated and he flew sideways in the air briefly? 'Cause how hard he got hit.
I think Emmanuel might have got it, or Antonio Brown. He got
That
killed
happened
by
to him,
Verdict
too.
at,
That was so
Verdict
bad.
at in Cincinnati. But I mean, I do think that they kind of put the eyes more on MMA because it looks
You're getting
gruesome.
punched.
Yeah, it looks.
Yeah, it's
you know,
it's a that's the goal actually, is to give the person head damage. Versus like football is just like it happens to happen.
But it's one of those things. It's a touchy subject because if you come
Yeah.
after us or if you come after this sport, you're gonna mess around and lose some sports.
Yeah.
you know
well,
what I mean.
It's interesting too because like I think it's not a secret that like getting punched in the head is not good for you. You know?
We weren't meant to get punched in the head.
I think it.
I wonder if that's good for you.
Yeah.
It builds character.
Yeah. Well, like, cause like I think even if like say for football for example, like they really come out with this like documentaries or like empirical evidence that like, hey, this is horrible for you, and if you have a 10-year career in the NFL, you may after 50 years old not be able to remember your kids' names.
Yeah.
If they came out and said that openly. But you can still make 10 mil a year, 30, 40, 50 million a year. This is the potential for you. Are people going to weigh these like, risk reward and still do it anyways? I mean, I think that's kind of like the thought with MMA is like, yeah, it could be bad for me, but I could become a fucking champion.
Yeah, it's
I
about that
become the
glory
champ.
too.
I think that's
Yeah.
kind of like what a lot of people do, anyways, man. I mean, Muhammad Ali's and all these other guys we've seen in football that are not able to walk or talk
Yeah.
or do things after football. And I mean, it's a common thing that we talk about, football players not having knees anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean,
That's
you
like
can
a
look at
common.
Ronnie Coleman over in weightlifting and bodybuilding.
Ronnie,
Dude, he can hardly
man.
walk.
Dude.
Yeah, he's like on a cane just walking.
Yeah.
And what's the Cali Muscle? That dude,
Yeah.
he looks crazy now too. But if you look at everything, it doesn't matter what we do. They're gonna make a decision. Everybody's gonna make a decision and decide which sport is their passion, and if that's their passion, they're gonna go for it. And I mean, we're all gonna get old.
Yeah, exactly. I think a lot of people look at it. I could have like, 20 fucking sick years, or even like 10 sick years, or I could have a, mediocre 80.
Yeah.
I think that's some people really will choose.
I think we decided in high school when we were doing those beer runs. What type of decided the shit we were on? Like, nah, I can't do the slow one. I didn't have the nice tin.
For real.
You know what? So actually, I did football all 4 years of high school, and then I started boxing afterwards because I was like, all right, I'm done with this. I need a way to stay in shape. I've been like a fan of like boxing for a while, and so I started boxing. And then I had certain events where like I would spar, and then I would like forget my mom's name, and like I would, like there's like I was like, okay, maybe I shouldn't be doing this. So,
Yeah, no, and it's just such a crazy dynamic, man. Falling in love with something that could be dangerous.
yeah.
That's the nature of man right there.
Yeah. Well, too, actually, I think boxing might be worse for you than MMA.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because, like, there's a couple things for it. Like, for one, you got a little bit more padding, and it's just constant mini concussions. So you just get hit and hit and hit over and over and over for a long period of time. And also, if you get knocked down, they fucking give you a 10 count to bring back as much as you can, and then back to mini concussions. And so...
I think boxing's worse than football.
Yeah. It's all head and body trauma.
And
Yeah.
you got a pound sitting on your hand that you're swinging around to punch something with.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, grab a lighter.
Yeah.
Just put a little lighter in your hand and punch something. You just generate more force.
Yeah.
So imagine, and you just pow, 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 pow,
Yeah.
pow, pow. And the goal is to throw over 100 punches around.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. That's crazy.
Right?
Yeah. And then I think the getting knocked out thing is big too, because like in MMA, you get hit bad, you're just it's over right then. Now these guys like toughness is almost a detriment to them because
Like Frank Martin.
Yeah.
I was gonna say that knockout. Oh my God, he got hit with a brick.
Well, I don't know who that is.
He was the dude that got knocked out by Tank Davis. Like
Okay.
he got one clean left hook that wobbled him, and then when Tank followed up that second one, oh my gosh, he just collapsed. His head smacked the canvas bad, just like what you were saying.
Gosh. Yeah.
It was a Manny Pacquiao-ish.
Yeah.
one. He was definitely
Out.
sleeping for a few days.
Gosh.
But again, man, like you said, those knockouts, and it's crazy because you get a knockout, and then you get that one where it's like when Mike Tyson knocks you out, you know that was a knockout like anything, but
Yeah.
the power, the force behind it, you know what I mean? Like, man. Yeah, it's bad. And
rough.
banging your head on the canvas, and But again, but they're picking on football, but boxing is bad.
Yeah.
Boxing is bad when it comes to that type of stuff. So
Yeah.
But I mean, hey,
I mean, you're not doing it for your health.
no, like we talked about, 10 good years, 10 good years.
Yeah. Could
I
be
would-
the trade-off.
Yeah.
The thing is that sucks is sometimes it's like, 3 really shitty years, and now you got to go back to their normal life.
Oh my gosh.
That's a reality for a lot of people.
And that's why we talk about, how unforgiving the sport is, and, building something for after.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? What's going to be next? What's next on the road?
for sure.
And being able to build your following so that
Yeah.
you have something behind you.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's probably being honest with yourself too at some point, if like maybe this isn't for you or whatever it is. Because like if there's any sort of half in, half out, it's not the right sport for you. You got to be fucking all in,
Yep.
100%.
Yeah, like Brendan Schaub, he's another good example. Like you could tell it was such a struggle, and then the trauma and the amount of knockouts he was undergoing, and then he found a successful way to branch off doing comedy, doing podcasts, him always with Joe Rogan and everything. So like that's why it's such an interesting dynamic with just nowadays, from us being observed so much as a blood sport that you got to hide all these violent UFC fights back with all the porn section versus now straight up. You got kids shadow boxing, watching TV. You got kids at the event and
went
everything.
behind you used to walk behind the curtain at Blockbusters. In the Hollywood
Bro,
video,
I
you used to
forgot
sit
about
behind it.
Blockbuster.
You used to sneak behind the curtain and be like, "What's that?"
What the hell?
God, it's been a minute since I've been at Blockbuster.
You remember the
They used to
curtain?
be
They don't
everywhere.
exist.
Yeah,
It's because they went out of
used to-
business.
Yeah, they
That's
used to
why
be
you haven't been to
everywhere.
one.
There's still one one. There's still one that's
No
still
way.
around.
No,
Yeah.
that one
Where?
closed. That one
Did it
closed. I think
finally?
it closed during COVID.
What?
I remember when
There
I was in.
still
It was
like
alive
one-
during COVID?
I think it was like one store remaining in the whole U.S.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
crazy.
I used to
But
go
I
to
think
them
it
all the time when I was
closed.
a kid.
Yeah,
You got to be crazy. Either it probably just had to be people that like refused to have internet in their house or something that were going there.
Pretty much,
Like, why would you do
The
that?
nostalgia factor.
Yeah. Their entire clientele was 80 and above.
Well, if you're out, remember at the beginning, if you're out like horse pasture lands
Yeah.
and things like that, it was hard to get internet to you. They'd have
yeah.
to like come out with like the T2.
You had to do like satellite or like that type of thing.
So
Yeah.
you might have to use some DVDs. And, remember they brought out the Blu-rays, and the Blu-rays went up to like $50.
Yeah.
Gosh.
Man, I was like, nah,
It's
there
crazy.
has to be another way.
And everybody just
There
started
has to be
scratching them for
another
fun to
way.
really test them.
Yeah, I immediately went to bootleggers. I was like, nah, we're gonna have a bunch of burnt DVDs in here. Forget that.
Yeah. That's crazy.
That was bad.
Yeah. Now it's all just streaming stuff.
Yeah. Everything streaming.
It's wild, the transition now, just like overall everything. I mean, even just the dynamic of sports to everyday life from 10, 20 years ago and how everything operated to now. It's just wild.
I just, it's crazy to see that, growing up, you'd TV, you just change channel, Now it seems like all those channels are fighting each other. So they're all independent. They're
right.
like,
What the hell?
oh, you ain't gonna watch me. I'm like, like pay $10. Well, I'm gonna charge you $20.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So it's crazy to see the dynamic we're at today, where Disney movies are like sacred. You gotta go to Disney.
Yeah.
right? Like it's only there.
It's probably the one I don't have.
That's the one you don't have.
Yeah.
That's the one I keep.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Huh.
it has
Good stuff on
everything.
there?
It has everything.
What's
has
it got on there?
Discovery Channel, National Geographic.
Oh, those are good ones.
Marvel, all the stuff is Disney,
Huh.
man.
See,
All the good
although
stuff.
I'm not a big fan of like the Marvel or whatever the other one is,
superheroes?
DC. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of like the superhero movies.
It's okay, you're not missing out much.
Yeah,
They're great, but like over time, like it starts to get a little dull seeing so many over and over.
I know
and
there's
over
like
again.
legit super fans for it. Like there's a
Oh,
huge,
die
a lot
hard.
of people that love it, but I
See,
just
I'm not like a diehard because there's people I'm like,
yeah.
you know all that. Like, you know what I mean? They'd
Yeah.
be like, yeah, but his brother, he was. I'm like, how do you know this? No, but it's good. You gotta be able to follow the story. So you gotta, and then
You gotta watch the 17 prequels
Yeah.
to what's out right now.
And all the
and
30
side
shows.
ones,
Yeah.
but like you can get some. If you ever have a chance, watch the Loki series.
That's a good
really,
show.
Really,
Okay.
really good series. And then if you start watching this and you get into this one, you're gonna be like, well, what happened to this dude? And then, but that dude left to go to his own series. So in order to find out what happened, you got to go watch that.
Okay, wow.
And then that's how you get trapped.
I gotta get Disney Plus first though.
Yeah.
What is it, like $10?
Yeah.
I only had it because of Verizon, because I was working for Verizon.
That's why I
and
got
they
it.
get it for free. And then I quit, and I'm like, I kind of like it now. So I just went back to Netflix again for like a week ago. Had to cut it off for like 2 years because I felt like everything on Netflix was the same
Yeah.
for like 10 straight years. I'm paying $10 a month for the same 7
yeah.
movies.
Now it's like $20 a month.
Yeah.
Since you've come
Man.
back.
Once they started saying like, hey, you're not in the same house as the person that is signing up for
I
this.
know
was
how
like,
bullshit is that?
yo.
Yeah,
I
Hulu's
hate
still
that.
cool about it.
That's what ruined me on PlayStation. As soon as they did that to where you can't even share games anymore, I'm like, nah, fuck this.
Yeah,
It was so bad. It made me so
that
mad.
Sucks. That pisses me off. Hulu's still cool about it. Like Hulu, you could have like one over here and then still share, but Netflix to fucking put the kibosh on that.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, Hulu's with they're just tagging along at this point.
Is that there? ESPN?
Because they get the bundle.
Oh, yeah,
You
Hulu
get ESPN,
Sports.
Hulu, and Disney.
Oh, okay.
So
Huh.
they're like, hey, we're cool. We're just gonna tag along. ESPN
Yeah.
carry us.
They're like that middle child. They're like, hey, I'm just happy to be here.
Right? Nice.
For real, at this point, it really is. I mean, all your kids are gonna get Disney, and
Yeah.
then you got all the adults on ESPN. So Hulu's
Yeah.
like, we'll just sit right here.
Pretty much, yeah.
It's like a perfect marriage,
Yeah.
You guys take up the weight. I'll sit back here, cruise along.
Give you a crisp high five.
Yeah, exactly.
right.
Nice.
So what was that, by the way?
It's a Zevia.
Yeah.
It's like it's a soda but sweetened with stevia.
Oh,
They're delicious.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
It's like a healthy soda, maybe. Although I'm sure there's something in it that's not good for you. It's got natural flavors. It's not
At
good
least
for
it's
you,
natural
probably.
flavors.
Does it,
But
does
it's
it
like-
give you brainwashing properties? No.
It's pretty delicious, though. I like them a lot.
That's what's up.
Yeah, I'll
never
get the
seen
cream
it.
sodas are delicious.
I'm like, what is this?
Very
At
good.
First,
Oh,
I'm like,
official sponsor of the podcast, Zevia.
Hey.
nice, nice.
No, I'm just kidding. I actually do have an official sponsor now, though.
Oh,
you guys, Impact Jiu Jitsu out in
Hey.
Fountain Hills.
Nice.
We've got Anthony Burchak. He's runs the 10th Planet Tucson, and
I know the name. I haven't met him in person, but
you
I
got to
know
go
the name.
down there, interview him, interview some of his boys. He's a
Okay.
UFC veteran. MMA, has been being in the MMA and jiu-jitsu scene for a while.
Nice.
Legit wrestler, too. He's coming into town teaching a seminar in Fountain Hills on Monday.
Oh,
Hey, okay.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice.
Okay, see, that's the cool thing about just the community is the fact that it's so interwebbed that you got guys like that, you got other people from around the world that comes together and they're just willing to work with people, like the De Los Santos brothers over at Jay Pages.
Yeah.
Some
Love
of
those
the
guys.
dopest brothers I've ever met, and they're just so chill, so easy to work with across
Yeah.
the board.
Yeah.
You can't really understand them, but once you get past that, no, I'm just kidding. I love those guys.
Yeah, they're dope as hell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, hey guys, thank you guys for coming. I'm gonna wake up super fucking early tomorrow,
too.
so I need to go to sleep soon. But thank you guys for coming. You want to like shout out like Instagrams or anything like that? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, Throwing Hands 23. That's where you can find the work we do out here. That's pretty much all I was gonna say.
Yeah, I mean, check us out, ASAP Sports Network. We're literally international at this point. I mean, we got shows over in Ohio,
Australia.
Cleveland, Australia, Chicago as well. We got Josh Said What. That's my other podcast. I mean, we're everywhere at this point.
Hell
And the
yeah.
best thing is that it's literally for the community and for the fighters. That's the
Yeah,
best part.
Yeah.
Nice, love it, man.
And thank you, man. Thank you for having
No,
us
thank you,
on.
bro.
and
No problem.
We really
yeah,
appreciate that.
Absolutely. No credentials. Actually, just passed the JRE in views, so I'm
Hey.
really excited about that.
Nice.
Hell yeah, bro.
No.
That's dope, man.
I'm just kidding.
No credentials at all.
Yeah. Well, dude, thank you guys for coming. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you, man.
Hell yeah.
Appreciate you.
All right.